Alright, lovely viewers, I need to tell you about something real special. Blue Apron. Blue Apron is the #1 fresh ingredient and recipe delivery service that makes incredible home-cooked meals accessible to anyone, even us here at Death Battle Labs. Sign up now at blueapron.com/desk and get your first 3 meals free, with free shipping. Meals like spicy shrimp and Korean rice cakes or pork chops and garlic piccata. Just remember, that's blueapron.com/desk. Now, let's start the show. It's no secret that comic book fans ask a lot of questions about their favorite heroes. I mean, hell, that's half the concept behind Death Battle after all. But sometimes the creators of these comics oblige our curiosity for better, worse, or sometimes just because they can. I'm Jocelyn the intern. I do all the research nobody else wants to, straight from the desk of Death Battle. Now, I'm sure y'all know some of the heavy hitters in this category. Take, for instance, the long-debated Batman vs. Superman what if. How about Marvel's Civil War, which is essentially just a big what if all the superheroes got into a fight? But sometimes the shadowy figures behind comics have their own what if ideas. Like, what if Star Trek and the X-Men had a crossover? Well, apparently Wolverine and Spock wouldn't get along, forcing Spock to do one of those badass Vulcan moves on Wolverine to put his ass to sleep for like 5 seconds. But then pretty much exactly as you would expect, they all become friends and beat up on some bad guys together. Although it may sound like a very strange scenario, it's honestly pretty vanilla. But you know what's not vanilla? Bananas! And by that I mean, what if the Fantastic Four were bananas? Whee! Which is an actual question posed in Marvel's infamous What If series. And no, we're not talking about bananas as in B-A-N-A-N-A-S crazy. Oh no, we're talking straight up literal grown from a tree bananas. Though nothing really happened because what good is a superpowered banana? Don't think this was a one-off thing either. Marvel launched a series called What If, entirely about proposing these types of scenarios. Now sit down and buckle up because I'm about to show you just how ridiculous these can get. So, What If revolves around a character called The Watcher, who for all intensive purposes is both a multidimensional historian and master of what-ifs. Thanks to The Watcher, or in some cases Watchers, we get a glimpse into alternate realities and unrealities, like a world where Aunt May died and Uncle Ben lived on. Some of these issues are actually pretty good, but none of them are as crazy as issue number 34. What if The Watcher were a stand-up comedian? Thanks to a comedic version of The Watcher, we get to see some real stupid stuff. For instance, the mind-bending question of, what if Power Man were white? The answer is apparently that he would refer to himself as a funky honky, which is a very racially confused epithet. We also get a look into a world where Wonder Man is a woman and Power Man is a girl, which would make them Wonder Woman and Power Girl. 2 very popular DC heroes. And that's probably why they have a little legal notice from the competition. For a comic in the early 80s, they also had some pretty risque jokes. Here we get a look into a world where Spider-Man and Spider-Woman are getting married. Spider-Man, being a really shitty groom, mentions how he was going to marry Black Widow until he found out what she had in mind for the honeymoon. Which, if you aren't up to date on your arachnids' breeding habits, he's referring to the fact that Black Widows eat their male companions after they bang. Well, the writers must have thought that was a pretty good joke because they printed that what if about 30 pages later. And sure enough, Black Widow devoured Spider-Man. Although we can assume our pal Peter Parker probably had a damn good time before the end. Speaking of meals, let's take a look at a what-if world where Iron Man had an eating problem instead of a drinking problem. Now, we aren't talking about having a few candy bars here and there. Tony rolls into a restaurant and orders an entire effing cow. Like a whole cow, not a steak. A cow, like moo moo and all that. Oh, and a tab, because it's the 80s and that's the go-to diet beverage. Yeah, because that'll help. He eventually gets so fat that he can't even fly in his Iron Man suit anymore. Ha! So remember, if you're a 1980s billionaire playboy genius slash superhero trying to fill a void in your life, fill that shit up with Jack Daniels because at least you can still take to the skies, even if you're a bit tipsy. For the record, that's just a joke, not an actual suggestion. Our last stop on our way down this rabbit hole isn't a what if, it's a what will. What will happen when Stan Lee reads this issue? The answer? Unemployment for the writers, that's what. Well, that's all for today, but I'll leave you with my own what if. What if you liked this video, subscribed, and told all your friends? Maybe, just maybe, I'll get a raise? A girl can dream. See you next time.